Hello. Welcome to our short video presentation on our project, which we have put forward for this year's Mental Health Nursing Research Conference, which has gone virtual live. We're from the University of Cumbria, and we're going to spend the next 10 minutes just telling you about the Festival of Mental Health that we put together. Myself, Steve McCarthy-Grunwald, who is the the pathway lead, get the right title, for mental health nursing, and my colleague.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Pearce. I'm a lecturer based at Lancaster campus, a lecturer in mental health nursing.
So with the Festival of Mental Health, this was initially a thought that both myself and Charlotte put together over a few months of thinking, what could we do differently rather than having a mental health conference, but having something which we could offer to staff and students, as well as members of the local healthcare and members of the local public as well, as a way of bringing us together to recognise and celebrate mental health and identify ways in which we can find more positive experiences for our well-being. So that kind of led us to the idea of developing our first Festival of Mental Health in 2018. Now, Charlotte is just going to go through some of the aspects of what we had as part of that festival before we then go on and tell you a bit more about it in general.
Yeah, I think the thing that inspired myself and Steve the most was creative arts and making. We recognise as mental health lecturers, particularly in nursing and working closely with people, that the arts are fundamental really to positive mental health and well-being. So we wanted to bring some of that to the uni to make the most of some of our art students and what they do as well, but kind of celebrate mental health in a way. Sometimes that term mental health can be stigmatised and can be, seen as in negative connotations. So we deliberately called it the Festival of Mental Health because we wanted to stick to that and make a point of saying that, but also showing and celebrating the positives that surround mental health and well-being as well. So it was very much, as Steve rightly said, a day for our staff and students, but we welcomed others to come and join us as well, from the local public and from other networks. And we did run a networking event in our gallery building, our gallery space. So lots of charities and agencies came. They found it really useful because they networked together and they were able to discover who each other were and get some contacts. So that helped them out, but it also helped some of our service users out who turned up and they got some contacts, some useful contacts for advocacy, for example, and for other services that they may not have known actually existed in the local area. So it was really beneficial for them. Friends and family turned up, so it was really like a day for everyone. We also got involved in some local primary schools the first time we ran the festival, and ran some workshops with some of the younger ones as well, because obviously early years and teaching about mental health at a young age is also really important, so that people transition with that knowledge and that foundation of what is positive well-being. So we tried to do that as well and get some of the local primary schools involved in the university as well. As well as that, we had in our beautiful Lancaster campus, we had some other things going on that was really interactive. So as Steve rightly said, we didn't want it to be a kind of stuffy conference, if you like. We wanted it to be very much about well-being, exploring the outdoors. Our campus is lovely. If you've never been to Lancaster campus, it's very green. There's loads of trees, so we wanted some stuff going on outdoors. We wanted yoga to be happening, Tai Chi to be happening, lots of nice things that people could just go and have a watch. Even if they didn't want to get involved with, they could just, be an observer and see if that might be something that would help them in the future as a future coping strategy, for example. Yeah. Over to you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. So as Charlotte's quite rightly pointed out, there's so much that we were trying to cram into these days to give people tasty sessions of what they could perhaps consider doing themselves for their own well-being. It was important that with the Festival of Mental Health, we didn't want it to just be a one-hit wonder. We wanted it to be something that will continue year on year and to become a brand more than anything else. So as such, we were considering how best we could market the festival itself. And we were fortunate in the way that we were able to link up with another proud Cumbrian who became our patron as well, Lord Melvyn Bragg. and he was very influential in being able to provide that support and his knowledge, not only from his time of working in the arts for so many years, but also his presidency of Mind for the past 15 years and his own personal experiences. So it was good for us to be able to have that kind of spearhead as part of the festival itself, and also our branding of the logo that we have. So people will know that anything in the future is always linked back to this idea. So from there, we, as Charlotte mentioned, we started thinking about what would be useful. So all of the taster sessions, the marketplace, education and development was part of the consideration, with having not only sessional work for adults and members of the public to attend, but also a set program for younger children to attend. We also had a poetry exhibition and art exhibitions as well, where in the first year we had pieces of artwork that were created around the theme of famous artists who had experienced mental ill health throughout their life and had been influenced, demonstrated through influences of their work itself. And we also had local artists, some who had experienced mental health and use art in a way of expressing their emotions too. And we had them all displayed as over the 2 days of the conference. And as part of the exhibition, we had some pieces that were donated for sale, so we could raise some funds through a blind auction for charity. So it was a way of being able to, again, give back to some of the local charities itself. Part of what we wanted to do is involve our students in the day as well, not just attending, but also doing things. So we had the festival itself built into one of our modules, where the students who were on there were encouraged to come up with ideas of what they could do as part of the festival. And for both years, they both decided to do a teen talk session and to raise money for the Mental Health Foundation itself. But we also had other students who were keen to be involved and therefore came up with their own ideas of how they could get involved. And we got them signed up as volunteers and supporters for the day. Anything you want to add to that, Charlotte?
Yeah, some of our students, in fact, obviously might have been through some mental health stuff themselves, so actually gave some talks, which was really, really a nice outlet for them. You know, they were able to kind of share some of their experiences through a talk. So they got involved in lots of different ways, really, through that, through cake sales, through spreading mental health awareness, making badges, getting involved in some of the crafts activities with some of the primary school children that attended. And we had some really lovely feedback from the primary schools around that as well.
Yeah, and I think from there, there's just a few extra slides that give you a flavour of some of the things which were going on across the 2 days, from relaxation to gardening to reminiscence and flashback events of a day at the seaside, silent discos, forest bathing. There was lots and lots of experiences that people could have. We also had a couple of evening events. There was a film review and panel discussion, and we had a guest come through to do a play, Forget Me Not, which Rob G, who was a mental health nurse for many years and is now for the last 15 years been a comedian, a poet, and also produces his own work. So it was a way of using other types of creative arts to be able to express our understanding of mental health. And then from there, we had a program. So again, you can just see from these next 2 slides how busy the first year's program was, because we wanted to make sure there was a lot of different things for as many people as possible to come and explore and to have a go at and see what interested them. But one of the things we wanted to make sure is, are we getting it right, and is there things that we can develop? Because obviously this is something that we did want to continue year on year. So we looked at a lot of the feedback that we were getting from evaluations of those who attended, and they come up with some really insightful comments, not only positive comments, but just a general understanding that they actually felt part of something bigger, which I thought was really useful. And being able to attend places like the marketplace, they got a lot from not only going around and looking at what was happening in the marketplace, but also networking was something that they really enjoyed doing. So it gave us ideas of what worked well and what we could perhaps look at increasing as years go on. And we took some of the suggestions, certainly from 2018, and we introduced some of them into 2019 when we looked at setting up the second festival. And just on the back of that, there was also, we had a summer spectacular, as we called it, which was just a short 3 Fridays in succession where we invited local artists who have done plays based around mental health to come and present their play as part of the festival under the banner of the festival itself. And they were, again, a way of trying to embrace different creative arts and how they can get across their own individual experiences in a medium of stage acting.
Yeah.
And any final thoughts, Charlotte? Because I think this is some, as I say, we will be looking to continue year on year. And although COVID has kind of got in the way of this year's at the moment, we are still looking at how we can create something for this year. But definitely next year is our main plan again for the festival.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just to say that mental health is so vast and there's so much we could talk about in terms of like how much it costs the country and all this, you know, like. And the creative health inquiry that looked into a little bit into that, but how by enabling people to engage in the arts that can help them in terms of the well-being, in terms of thinking about creative means for coping with the mental health, and that's certainly been something that's been on a lot of people's radar in terms of thinking about resilience during lockdown and things. So there's more we can talk about to do with the festival, but hopefully it grows and continues.
And just one final exciting piece of news that we have been shortlisted for the North Educate Awards for 2020. And although it's delayed at the moment due to COVID, we're hoping that's something which will help promote the festival even more, ready for the Festival of Mental Health next year.
Yeah.
Okay. And stop. So how long was that?